listen, now watch The Fan. Check out the KFAN YouTube channel for exclusive videos, in-depth takes, initials and password games, and behind-the-scenes content. Search KFAN on YouTube and hit subscribe today.
Like, hello?
Passed on common. These tend to be. There's always something new to worry about. Tend to be. I don't know if you worry about things like this. Have you heard about the deer tick red meat allergy scare? You familiar with it?
No.
Oh, don't.
Is that a Mad Libs?
Yeah, don't laugh. It's called alpha-gal syndrome. I'm sure there's a joke there. But here's what it says. Alpha-gal syndrome, AGS, is a serious, potentially life-threatening allergy to alpha-gal that can develop after a tick bite. Alpha-gal is a molecule found in most mammals, such as cows and pigs, but not in people. People with AGS can have an allergic reaction after eating red meat or being exposed to products containing alpha-gal. The best way to protect yourself and your family from AGS is to prevent tick bites. Nearly 500,000 people may be affected.
Yeah.
More than 110,000 suspected cases of AGS were identified between 2010 and 2022. The actual number in the United States is not known, but as many as 450,000 people may be affected. They just had a story where perfectly healthy male, I don't know where it was, somewhere in the United States, barbecue with the family, dead a couple hours later.
Yeah.
So there's that. Then there's, what's the other one I saw now? There's another one to be scared of. I'll think of it here in a second. But so now it's like, oh, I know what it is. It's, hold on, let me make sure this is it. Yeah, the explosive, have you ever heard of Cyclospora catenatus?
Huh?
It's a parasite currently causing a massive U.S. outbreak of cycloporiasis. It infects the small intestine, triggering severe gastronomical illness. Over 2,800 cases have been reported across 31 states. They call it exploding diarrhea. I'm not making it up. Cases of parasitic illness causing explosive diarrheas are rising across the United States, with Ohio and Michigan reporting the highest numbers. Investigators have not yet identified the source of the outbreak, which has historically been linked to contaminated produce. Some experts suggest the focus should shift to water, as it can be a conduit for the parasite to contaminate produce or directly infect people. Recent flooding and heavy rainfall in states with high case counts could be a factor, potentially overwhelming sewage systems. So, if it's not, here's one. This one says, It's the Lone Star tick that gives you that virus. That's what Chisago City guys say. It's called the Lone Star tick. There's always some terrible malady that's out there just lurking in the... Do you ever let things like that get to you? Like, will you now be terrified
No,
of
not
ticks?
really. My wife would be on the side of it, yes. She's always afraid of ticks and checking the kids and telling them to check themselves.
I mean, there's stories, they're everywhere. State television in Michigan and Ohio reporting thousands of cases. Michigan and Ohio are really bad. As a 2-week incubation period, CDC assumes a 6-week reporting lag between illness onset and disease. With a long incubation period, it's tricky to find potential links between cases, such as eating at the same restaurant, shopping at the same store. Epidemiologists interview everyone with a lab-confirmed case. Those interviews often take place 2 to 4 weeks after infection, making it difficult for people to recall where they ate. So, FoodNet helped coordinate information across states and develop the off-site statistic of 48 million people living in the U.S. are sickened with foodborne illness every year. 128,000 are hospitalized, 3,000 die. And I just add another thing to your plate. Pardon the pun, that wasn't intended. That really wasn't. But that's just another thing to add to it. 18 states, explosive diarrhea, they call it. It doesn't sound like you die from it, but it can last for weeks. This one said, can confirm it was horrible stomach pain. Had to take Tylenol for relief. This guy says cyclospora. Had it 2 years ago.
Oh.
Using the word explosive doesn't even give it justice.
Oh.
Worst stomach pain I've ever had and bloating. This one said, Exploding Diarrhea will be playing at the Fillmore Friday night. That would be a great name for a band. That would be a great name for a band.
I like explosive better than exploding.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. This one says, I know no less than 3 people down here in Arkansas that have been bitten by the Lone Star tick and cannot eat red meat. They're completely chicken and pork now.
Oh, that would be hard for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a big red meat guy. So, I don't know if there's any getting around it. God bless you if you get it, because it's going to kill you. Well, it won't kill you. Lone Star tick, the red meat thing can kill you. Yes, it can. The exploding diarrhea is just bad. It's not good. But
that doesn't sound fun.
But apparently you won't die from that. But we'll keep you posted. And update you on updates as warranted, as we say. Here's this. So, John Krasinski writes for The Athletic, as you know, tend to be.
The what?
Well, you're not familiar with it? Mm. Oh, Athletic is the coolest thing ever. I have a prescription for it. It's a sports website. It's like a newspaper, man. It's like the USA Today for sports. They have reporters in every major metropolitan area covering all the major sports. This one by Krasinski says, Beringer, how do we say his name again? I wish Rosen was here. Beringer, his time is coming for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Wolves GM Matt Lloyd was breaking down the team's 2-day performance in the draft last month when a question was lobbed at him about second-year big man Juan Beringer. Lloyd said, in his voice getting noticeably buoyant, Oh boy, here we go. He played sparingly as a rookie last season, with the Timberwolves bringing him along gradually behind a star-studded front court rotation. But the whispers of his athletic feats and practices during the season and in workouts this summer have grown louder and louder, and Lloyd offered up a specific memory to illustrate how excited the team is about his future. He said, I think one of my favorite moments thus far of the offseason, we had a pickup game about a week ago, and he got a defensive rebound. He dribbled the length of the floor, changed the direction of his dribble twice, and finished over the top of another player. Well, who was that other player? How serious were people playing? That'd be my question. The potential is one of several reasons Wolves president of basketball operations Tim Connolly made two seismic moves this offseason. Trading Randall to Brooklyn, sending Naz Reid to Charlotte. The deals removed all the barriers for entry for the rotation for Beringer, who is currently penciled in as the backup to Rudy Gobert at center. He played 40 games as a rookie, vast majority in garbage time. When he did get extended minutes, there were some promising signs. 13 points and 5 boards in 30 minutes against Milwaukee in January. 24 points, 13 rebounds, 7 blocks in the regular season finale against New Orleans. New Orleans is a terrible team, and they were mailing it in, right? Last game of the season. They just were. I mean, it's just, again, the kid did what he did. Connolly said, I think he's going to make a huge impact defensively. He doesn't make mistakes offensively. He's exactly the type of work ethic, self-motivated, tough player we're looking for. I think he has a physical profile that only a handful of guys in the league have. There will be anywhere from 15 to 25 minutes available for Beringer on a nightly basis. Whether he's completely ready for that responsibility or not, he's going to get it starting in October. The Wolves are giving him some minutes at power forward in the summer league to test his versatility. He says, I know I still have some work to do, especially if I want to play some minutes at power forward. I've never played the position, but I feel I can be good. I just feel like I have to play more and more. I'm very excited to have some opportunity next year. And again, as I read this, and there's more to the story, you do start thinking LeBron who, if you believe this. And again, it's always a word of caution. The kid, he's only been playing basketball for like 5 years, right? So there's room for growth. And if what they're saying about him is true, I guess I got to take the word for it. I'm not at NBA summer camp. It's a promising development for the Wolves, and they need it, because without Naz Reid and without Randall, if they don't get LeBron, they're pretty thin up front. So. And again, if he does have the talent and you can bring it out of him, and he makes some big strides this season, then by the time you get, we've learned this about the NBA for sure. Most teams are playing the regular season just out of necessity. They don't want to; they're forced to. You have to play these games to collect your salary to qualify for the playoffs. We'll do it. We'll go through the motions, but we're all just trying to gear up for postseason play. So maybe with 82 games and playing a vast majority, those can get a lot of minutes. You can get to the point where by the time playoff time comes, he can be a force and a factor in the playoffs. But we'll see. Tenneby's got a keyword. Our friends at BigDeck.com are sponsoring our National Cash Contest. What you got?
The Fan and BigDeck.com want to give you a shot to win bonus bucks with our National Cash Contest. Enter the keyword bank at KFAN.com now for a shot at winning. The keyword is bank. Enter now at KFAN.com.
The Common Man.
He signed back for another year.
He's not good.
I don't know. What are they doing?
So washed up.
Couple 13-14 past. I'm Common. He's Tennessee. This text message says, here are some other parasites. LeBroniasis causes uncontrollable belief that LeBron's the missing piece and will join the Timberwolves. Harperosis, a neurological condition that causes Minnesota Wild fans to believe Dylan Harper will somehow sign with the team. Purple parasitis feeds on Viking fans during July. Hold on. beginning during July training camp hype that dies off by January. Then there's hopium relief worm, also known as Bullpennia twinsense, feeds on Twins fan who reads sources say the Twins are interested. Those are all. Now here's one. Talking about Beringer. Did you watch him? He looks the part. He passed the eye test big time. So I asked Google, is Summer League comparable to the regular season? No, the Summer League is not comparable to the regular season. The speed, rules, and talent levels are very different. Here's why they do not compare. Lower quality players. Summer League features rookies, players fighting for G League spots, and overseas pros. Regular season NBA games feature the best basketball players in the world. Huh, that's interesting. So if you dribble down the court, change your dribble twice, and then slam dunk over somebody in an NBA regular season game, that's pretty impressive. At G League, it's available to everybody. Anybody can do that. Shorter games, Summer League games last 40 minutes instead of the standard 48. Quarters are 10 minutes long instead of 12. Also, no set plays. That sounds like most Minnesota Timberwolves games I watch. Matter of fact, most NBA games, they don't have set plays.
The ball gets sticky.
Gets really sticky. Summer League teams practice together for only a few days. This leads to sloppy passes, lots of turnovers, and one-on-one play rather than team strategy. Here's another one. Selfish play. Now, that's also in the regular season, too, but apparently it's even worse in Summer League. Players in Summer League are trying to secure a job. As a result, they shoot the ball much more often to show off their individual skills. Fans often find the Summer League exciting because they can see highly drafted rookies play for the first time. However, a player's performance in July does not easily predict how they will play in an 82-game regular season, which is all I've been trying to say. I mean, I could have wrote that for AI. They spelled it out more eloquently than I could have.
My guess is he's not going up against talent like Wemby.
No, he's not.
That's just my guess.
Yeah. Now, he checks back last season. Well, he didn't play in any significant. When he played last season,
it was garbage time.
It was garbage time.
Was Gobert out for a little bit there?
Yeah, look, look when they drafted him, I was as high. Rosen and I had a debate. Rosen said he should spend a lot of time down in Iowa. I said I'd play him all the time. You can't get better playing in Iowa. You can't. You're not going to get better play. You can tell me you are. It just doesn't make. I'm sorry. Playing G League basketball is not going to make. You can refine your skills, I guess, a little bit.
Well, and I think there's a reason to believe he'll make a jump, right?
Yes.
He's, as you mentioned, he's young, extremely athletic for his size, has not a lot of experience playing basketball. So there's reason to believe he can make a jump. But I think people need to recognize the way people are talking about him, he'd have to make like a historic jump.
Yes, exactly.
Like he barely played last year. Like those guys don't go from just barely playing to, oh, you're a full-time starter.
Yes.
And
power forward. Yeah.
It's like I'm sure he'll find his way into the rotation more now.
It's that's part of the hopium. You and I get it. I mean, like the Twins now, they had the 3rd pick overall in the amateur draft this weekend. I think it was this weekend, right? And they drafted a catcher. I don't know who he is. His name escapes me now. And Rosen, I think he played for Boston College, so Rosen probably watched him play. But I don't know if he'll be any good. I don't know. Nothing wrong with getting a catcher. The important position, right? But I don't know. And so same thing with Beringer. We don't know. I mean, but I sure like it. And I think it goes back in. We brought this up last week when we were talking about Beringer and other players. It's tough to balance when you're trying to win, and you're trying to win now. I mean, the Wolves went into last season after going to back-to-back Western Conference Finals. They're not thinking about, well, I hope we can make the playoffs. They're thinking about, not only do we want to get back to the Western Conference Finals for the third year in a row, this time we want to win the Western Conference.
We want to knock down that door.
Yeah, exactly. That's what they want to do. So it's pretty hard to balance that goal and give quality minutes and a lot of minutes to younger guys like Beringer or anybody else in the roster. We had the Shannon guy, and who was the guy we had and we traded? He was going to be our point guard.
Oh, Dillingham?
Yeah, Dillingham.
Dilly.
It's hard to get those guys minutes when you're trying to win games. That's why so many of these rotations are so limited. There's usually in the NBA, most teams only go like 8 guys deep, your 5 starters and 3 bench players. And anytime you go any deeper than that, it's a complete blowout, or there's an injury, or there's foul trouble, and you got to look down the bench and go, Bill hasn't played all season. He's not even expecting it. Bill, you got to go in. He's going, me in the game?
It's potato time.
Yeah, it's potato time. That's exactly dope-de-dope. It's potato time. And
it's the same place that thought that Luka Garza was going to be.
Yes, exactly.
A significant player for us eventually.
And maybe he would have been. I don't know, but the thing is, you don't know until you play them. But then you and I were talking about this last week. It's kind of part and part. I've accepted it now, as much as it bothers me that in the NBA, a lot of times regular season games just get lost in the shuffle, and it's more just 3/4 speed, especially against teams that aren't contending. So when you're in how many times have I repeated the quote from Ant a week into last year when he goes, I just don't think we really want to play these regular season games, because and as I said then, I understand that once you've gone through the grind 2 years in a row and get to the finals and then get ousted, now you go, God, we have to do the same thing again to get to the finals, and you'd rather just get to the playoffs and start there. And that makes sense why you'd want to do that. So as long as you have that attitude by some players, coach should be able to know, this is a game I think we're probably going to lose anyways, or I think Ant or whoever the player is, maybe we'll give this guy a, what do we call those? Mental health days?
Load management?
Load management days, right? Let's give a load management to Rudy tonight, and let's play Beringer the whole game, because what's the difference if we're probably going to lose the game anyways because we're moody. We're a moody team that doesn't always play to our best of our ability, but we'll see. I'd love to see him be a star. It'd be great. And then we got that other big guy too. I mean, Beringer is considered like small compared to him as height-wise. So we'll see. We'll break, come back. One more segment to go. Speaking of Wembanyama, there was a nice piece on him. We'll talk about that next year on the Common Man program on the Fan.
The Common Man.
It was a terrific run. He's a legendary name in
Past, I'm Common. He's Tenebee. Final segment of the show. I really think we've hit our stride here, Tenebee. Of course, it's still late. Show's about over. But it'll happen sometimes. You never know.
Can't nobody break your stride.
No, you really can't. Here's a text message that came to the Bradshaw and Bryant KFAN text line. It says, Common, this is not a topic, but I just got through watching the Cole comeback on Program Password. It's probably the greatest comeback since the Red Sox were down 3-0 in the ALCS and came back to beat the Yankees. It's must-see YouTube TV. Congratulations,
I always love that
boy.
one.
I am doing some remarkable things in Program Password now. I think, do we have like a comeback? Well, of course, how can you come back from a place you've never been? Could I be most improved? I was always an abject. I mean, for the longest time, I was the best of the lousiest, the best, sitting around a 500 record. I was miserable in the invitational tournament. We've done 5 now or 6. I think I'd only had one win the entire invitational tournament. Now you can say I rode Cove's coattails, and look, I'm perfectly willing to admit that Corey Cove's a terrific partner. And we've played well together. I think now are we 9-1 overall, including the tournament,
something like that.
Something like that. So, but yeah, I went from not even and now I think I'm 5-6 games over 500. I think I might be the program password most improved player.
Well, not to mention the Cole comeback specifically. If you and your son lose that game, which you were bound to do at one point,
yes,
he would have dropped lower than Muss on the all-time standings, and just the embarrassment you would have had as a father at that point. So you had added pressure on you in that match. So you can't have your son be worse than Muss at program password. That can't happen.
When I had two major gaffes, it's the second time I've done this in all the time of pro. It doesn't happen often. I think almost anybody that's played, maybe not almost everybody, I know a number of people have, where in your excitement to deliver the next clue because you think, wow, what they just did, that sets it up perfectly. Here we go, slam dunk. You give the password instead of a clue to get to the password. And I did that, which gave them, was that 9 points it gave them?
Yeah. And at the time, you guys were on like a 41-0 run. Yes. They hadn't gotten points in a long time.
And then the second clue of the day, the word was pile. With anybody else but Deuce, I don't even know. I mean, how many people, if you said the word if you said Gomer, they would say pile. I guess that's because it's such an unusual. The TV show is 60 years old. It hasn't been on. I mean, you can find it on reruns, but as far as a regular situation comedy, it ran like 60. He was a bit. Jim Nabors played a bit character called Gomer Pyle on the Andy Griffith Show. That catapulted him into a spin-off called Gomer Pyle USMC. He was in the Marine Corps, and that lasted 2 or 3 years. That ended before 1970. So when I saw it, I'm not going to say, because if I say Gomer, Deuce isn't going to get it anyways. He said he would have. I'll believe him. So we gave up 10 points there.
I think he would have just because he was your son. I'm sure you've mentioned it. Like, I would never have heard of Gomer Pyle until I worked on the show.
Right.
And over the weekend, I actually had Gomer Pyle show up on my crossword puzzle that I was doing.
Oh, did it really?
Yeah.
How pleased were you with that?
So I got that answer.
Yeah, so you got that going for you. This one says, too many breaks, 1 every 15 minutes, unreal. Well, I texted him back. We've had a commercial break every 15 minutes for 25 years. It's nothing new. It's what we do.
It hasn't been added.
And
I wouldn't even say every 15 minutes because we only have 3.
Yeah. So
I suppose that would still be mathematical. Once you include the commercials, that would that would have it.
And we're in the business to make money. I mean, we can't, if we have no commercials, we don't have
we're giving you a free product.
Yeah. And I say this all the time, and it's true. The messages from our advertisers they're intended so that you can find products, goods, and services that you'll enjoy, and that many times you can save money. This is good. Commercials are a good thing. I don't know why people are so against them.
In fact, if I owned a company, I would say, hey, I'm going to email marketing@KFAN.com, and I would try to find my way onto the ComM program.
That's what I also said to him. I said, businesses want to be on the Fan because radio works. And I told him, call this station or the Radio Advertising Bureau because radio's red hot. If you are an advertiser and you like to get your message out, this is a great place to do it. We're the most listened to radio station in town. We just are. Maybe the upper Midwest, maybe one of the most listened to stations in the country. So I would highly recommend it. Again, marketing@KFAN.com. We've been talking a little bit of basketball.
Also, you and I need hydration breaks.
What's that?
You and I need hydration breaks too.
Break.
Yeah.
The hydration breaks, though, I know I think they were added strictly to sell advertising, because that's the thing with soccer. Much like the National Hockey League. National Hockey League, there's baseball, there's a break after every half inning. Football, they have the quarter breaks, there's timeouts, there's all sorts of time to squeeze in commercials. NBA, same thing, just doesn't happen in soccer much. But the hydration breaks are needed when they're playing in Kansas City, for crying out. It's 100 degrees and they're playing soccer. I know the reason it's done is for minutes, but I think they're a good idea for the players' health and safety.
Well, they did it for money.
Yeah.
But if you want to go that route, why couldn't they just do what like marathoners do? Right? They don't stop in the middle of the marathon. They have someone reach out a plastic cup with water in it, and you grab it, and you drink it, and you throw it to the side. Or they should do that in soccer.
I guess they could do that. I guess that's possible. That's not a bad idea. You're always thinking.
My favorite in football is when they have the breaks, and they have an actual employee on the team that comes out with this, like 6 water bottles, and they squirt it in your mouth for you. Apparently, the athletes can't do it themselves.
You can't. Well, your hands are taped, and you got your mouth guard, and you got the face mask on, the whole thing. This was Jared Weiss writes, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, writes for The Athletic. He did an analysis piece. Why Victor Wembanyama's hometown discount has ended the National Basketball Players Association calling for second apron changes. Now, I'll read a paragraph or two, and then we'll talk about it. And I actually tend to agree with this. It said, on Friday, as relics of his past, nods to his future, and the key figures of his professional life surrounded him, Victor Wembanyama signed his next Spurs contract, 5-year extension for 25% of the salary cap, projected to come in at $252 million, according to league sources who were not authorized to discuss the financial terms to the deal. Wembanyama was also entitled to receive the Supermax clause, which could have raised his salary to 30% of the cap, a projected $301 million over those 5 years. If he wins the MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, makes an NBA All-Star team next season. Considering he just became the NBA's first unanimous Defensive Player of the Year, all he'd effectively need to do is to earn that extra salary is play about 65 games. He passed up that chance because he had something bigger in mind, helping the Spurs keep this young team together. Wembanyama said during last season, he said, accumulating money has never really been a goal. Story goes on to say, in San Antonio, this is a lovely story of Wembanyama proving everything he has said about prioritizing winning above all else. But to the NBA Players Association, this is another example of the second apron applying pressure on star players to choose between getting paid what they're worth and keeping their teams together. Incoming NBPA Executive Director David Kelly said at his introductory news conference this Friday, as the details of Wembanyama's deal got leaked, he said, our position would be that the system should not require a player to carry all that burden. It should not put a player in a position where he has to carry the burden in order to keep a team together. A system that does that, we have a problem. Brunson did it last year. And it's hard for me to feel sorry for Victor Wembanyama or anybody playing pro sports. I mean, even the minimum salaries for all these leagues, aren't they like for NBA, and it's like $500,000, I think, is minimum, right? Or is it $1 million? All the leagues have healthy minimum salaries because, again, after taxes, spend, save, that whole thing. Flaunt, but it's still pretty good money, right? But I know people complain. I've always said this about what an athlete gets paid, Tenneby. It's like, well, you're worth whatever. If what you do on the court, on the field, on the ice, on the gridiron, if what you do is helping to generate that much revenue, then you should get your fair share. But what they're saying with the second apron is that you can only go this high. So Wembanyama has a choice to make. Brunson has a choice to make. Do I take everything that is according to the rules of, what you could get, the collective bargaining agreement, what he could get, but then that really makes it pretty difficult. That's like Brady did with New England. Yeah. In order to put the team together, it is a great story, and it's a good idea. But then that money, But the owners aren't taking less money, and the networks and all that. You know what? Am I making sense? What I'm trying to say is, I agree with what he says in that Wembanyama or anybody else takes less money because of the salary cap. And I think there has to be a salary cap, but this second apron stuff and all the punishments that are dealt to a team, it's...
Well, I don't really think it's that much different than other sports other than it's just super complicated in the NBA, right? First apron, second apron. The NFL, as much as the NHL has some things that they need to fix and figure out, their salary cap is the most simplest for the average rube to understand.
Okay.
And that's the thing, is the NBA now, NFL's always been complicated. We don't know real money, fake money, guaranteed money. You can get out of it at this point. NBA has gotten weird now in the last couple of years. Just why can't every league just do it like the NHL? Here's our the average salary you are making. That is your AAV, and that is your hit against the salary cap. You can get as much of a percentage as you want, but in every league, Connor McDavid's not making as much as he could make.
Yeah, that's right.
You mentioned Jalen Brunson. You mentioned Tom Brady. Like, this isn't anything. And frankly, in Wemby's case, Wemby's going to make $1 billion in his lifetime.
Right.
So you're going to make $1 billion as opposed to $1.2 billion. Like, he's going to be okay. If I was Wemby, I would make the same decision.
Yeah.
I'm still going to make $1 billion in my career, but this is going to give me the best chance to win ships and make a legacy. I would do the same thing.
You know, and I would do the same thing as well. But I think what they're saying is a player shouldn't be forced to make that decision. Because if what he does, if you look at it and he can make, I just think the owners are pocketing too much money is what I think it is.
Well, I don't doubt
That's
that.
what I think the problem is.
I think they're doing that in every sport.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. It's like they're not the product. The product should get paid more. I've always been on the side of the product.
I guess I'm just saying I don't think it's different than any other sport.
No,
it just
not.
feels different because it's the second, because technically they could go over the apron.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
But clearly none of them are wanting to go over the second apron.
And I guess the only reason
so that's basically your salary cap.
Yeah. Well, and I guess it could have been any sport, any team, any player, I guess.
Yeah.
This was one that just stuck out because it's the most recent. But it is, they have the apron, which does make it different. This text message says, the soccer players would have to grab the water cups with their feet. It wouldn't work like a marathon. I mean, you're right. Think about that. It wouldn't be like a marathon.
That would make it hard.
It would make it very difficult because you can't use your hands.
And also wouldn't want to drink that water after grabbing it with your feet.
This one says, so Common, let me get this straight. You'd be willing to take less money if they wanted to bring Jim Rome in? You're breaking up.
Huh?
Jim Rome wouldn't make it in this market. We don't want Jim Rome here. Who would want Jim Rome here? Jim's a talent. He's done well for himself. None of those national guys.
Well, not only that, like, you probably aren't making what you were actually worth anyway.
Right,
so it's not like you're squeezing every penny out of iHeart.
That is correct.
iHeart Radio.
That's for sure. Like, do people listen to Rome and Coward and those guys? Stephen A. Smith.
What a great show.
Yeah, I just don't.
Phenomenal.
I don't understand that, man. I mean, to me, the thing that gets me about those shows is it's sports intensive. That's all it is, I think, for the most part. And then they just talk about Los Angeles and New York. It just doesn't work that way. How much would Common give up in salary to keep Tennessee? A couple of bucks. That's apples and oranges, though, is really what it is. I mean, there's no salary cap here at iHeart. Well, they made their self-imposed.
They have a self-imposed.
They have their self-imposed salary cap, but there's no
it keeps getting lower.
Yeah, it keeps getting lower, but there's nothing that says in the radio business that a radio station is only allowed to spend a certain amount of money on service. It's not like laid down in any. It's not like that. So it is apples and oranges. Someone just said Shams just tweeted 31 minutes ago, the pups are still in the mix. Well, okay.
Seems like everyone is.
Well, that's it. I mean, everybody's in the mix. And I mean, again, I'm not taking anything away from Shams either, but what is that? Did he call the agent guy we brought up earlier today? What's his name again? Rich Paul?
Yeah.
So, hey, Rich, what's going on? Who are the teams in the mix? Well, you know, are the Timberwolves still in the mix? Yeah, they're in the mix. Well, then, okay. You can say that about any team, right? How about Pistons? Are they in the mix? Yeah, they're in the mix. I'd say there are 29 teams in the mix. Are there 32 teams in the NBA or 30?
There's 30.
30. There are 29 teams in the mix. Okay, not 29, because the Lakers are off, that's the one. And then the really bad teams are.
Yeah.
But other than that, there's probably 10, 12 teams that are in the mix. Yeah, the Pups.
LeBron's going to go Aaron Rodgers on this, isn't he? Just let it drag out and drag out.
I think the Timberwolves are in the mix. And I think Tennessee and I both agree it'd be fun to have him here.
That'd be great to have him.
It'd be great for our business. Be great for basketball. It'd just be fun. It would.
I mean, we would sell State Fair T-shirts on the comment program that would say, Ant, Mello, Braun, let's go.
Exactly. It's like when Unfinished Business and when Favre was here. And this is all fun. And maybe it's just my pessimistic attitude, which I do have. I'm a pessimist. I've told you before. If you're a pessimist and you believe the best will happen and it doesn't, you're not disappointed. If you're a pessimist and the best does happen, you're that much more excited. I can't believe it happened. If you're an optimist and you expect the best to happen and it doesn't go, well, you were expecting it anyway. And if the worst happens, you're devastated. So I'm just pessimistic about him coming here. It just doesn't seem like, other than the Favre thing, I can't think of another athlete who said, I want to go here, right? On his own volition, because like Quinn...
And he'd already gone through the cold weather stuff in Green Bay, so...
Yeah. And Quinn Hughes was traded here, right?
He was.
Yeah. So that's a little bit different. Koivu was drafted here, right? It's not
now, Quinn Hughes did have a no trade, no move clause, so he had to accept wherever, he had to prove it.
So that's a little better.
Yeah.
You say, well, I'll go to Minnesota.
Well, this is a place the hockey players want to go to.
Right, yes.
It's a hockey market. It's a good place to raise hockey children.
Yeah, but Koivu he was drafted here, and so that's where he came. And so that's what happens with players.
Most hockey players grew up in similar climates.
I'd like to hear more of Tennessee's Jim Rome impersonation. Is there more?
I don't have much past that.
Can you do it anyway? Do it again, though, because you do it.
What a great show. Common Man. Phenomenal. Be better if he was in Menominee. What a great show.
It's really good. You do a good Jim Rome. That won't get you very far. I mean, it's like... Maybe you could...
It's about 20 years too late.
Yeah, maybe you could be...
AI Jim Rome?
Or no, maybe you could work on a few other impressions or impersonations and then join Flop, Sweat, and Tears.
I'm not great with the impressions.
That was really good. And you do Barry...
I can do Butthead a little bit. That's about it.
Yeah, well, you do Barry Gibb. Yeah, but you do Barry Gibb really good, too.
I think you do.
No, do the falsetto. Come
That's
on.
you.
No, you do the falsetto. Yeah, see?